Hi, Tony Poe here. Today we're going to be talking to a phenomenal artist that has done crossover music for many, many years. He originally started in percussion. He still does percussion, but he plays like 15 different percussion instruments, which I find is like amazing. And he's done music in just about every genre you can think of. So, Chatty Cooper is his name, and I'll be interviewing him today. So, let's jump right in. Well, my project is Many Cultural Worlds, One Musical Heart. And the One Musical Heart is Chatty Cooper.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing you saw the questions that I sent you,
Yes.
and stuff, and I wanted to do you because not only are you you're a cultural drummer,
Uh-huh.
but you have so many qualities, like you cross over into so many different things.
Yes, and like and I can thank good old mom and dad because it started out in the jazz world.
Mm-hmm.
Going taking me to a concert in Philadelphia that I did not want to go to. You know,
Wow.
I was like 8 years old, or
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9, and uh, after getting there and seeing one of the groups that Mongol Santa Maria, I was like in awe from then on.
Uh-huh.
And as far as the music world and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
I just got the bug, and just
Did that make you want to like play like him, or?
yeah, that made me want to play like him and mom.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know, you don't remember this, but me coming up, they had and I think it was in the AMP or the Acme, they
Mm-hmm.
had S&H green stamps,
Oh
and
yeah. Uh-huh.
you put them in the book, you
Uh-huh.
fill the book up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mom got me, I was able to fill a book up, and I went online, they had these little bongos,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't tunable, nothing. They were just, if you wanted to make them tight,
Mm-hmm.
you put them on top the stove, and the heat would
Oh, and
tighten.
make it. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
make it real tight, and stuff like that. And I, as long as I showed the interest,
Mm-hmm.
they were there with me,
Right.
and my interest kept getting into where I hooked up with some friends of mine. I think around 11 to 12, just playing in the
Mm-hmm.
garage,
Right.
and and just having fun, and and then my next level, I think they went to the pawn shop. Yeah,
Okay.
went to the pawn shop, and we got some used tunable
Okay.
those, sort of graduating,
Uh-huh.
and then I would go to Philadelphia to my father had set me up like a workshop,
Okay.
and they had a drumming session every Saturday out in the park,
Okay.
in Philadelphia, and we'd ride up there, and I would set. At first, when I would just sit there and listen,
Mm-hmm.
and and then I was able to, they would tell people, bring your drums, come
Yeah.
in, everybody's welcome,
Mm-hmm.
and you had 25, 35, 45, you know, um, uh,
Wow.
bongo players and bongo players, and this one guy would
Mm-hmm.
just start out with the one rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody learned how to play that one rhythm. So you got 25 people playing
Mm-hmm.
that same rhythm, and then what he would do, uh, going from that standpoint, he would start pointing at people,
Okay.
and he wanted you while the everybody was keeping that same rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted you to do whatever you felt,
Wow.
what was in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and your rhythm, and try to stay within the rhythm
Mm-hmm.
that is being played
Right. But
with the
be
25,
creative.
but creative. He
Okay.
wanted you to create, and he didn't care if you messed up, whatever, because eventually
Mm-hmm.
he said everybody's going to get it.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Because it was
and
expression.
Yeah,
It was like your own expression.
it's like my own expression, and he's right. After about a couple times there, it just you start feeling comfortable,
Hmm.
and people start exercising their own style, and you're like, wow, man, he's he's pretty good,
Okay.
and you'll listen to him,
Hmm.
then he'll point to somebody else, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, this guy, he really picked it up.
Hmm.
So your head is just like moving all over,
Uh-huh.
listening to all these rhythms and everything. And it just got to be really, really good. And, and from that point, it was more, we were doing more Latin music.
Okay.
It was more of a Latin style
Mhm.
music, and that went on for, I would say, 3 to 4 years. Where I
Wow.
was just doing a lot, and then from that point, I hooked up with a friend of mine, Bobby Porter, and all them that we grew up, and we started doing soul music.
Okay.
And so we were
What group
doing
was that?
that. You know what? It's so weird because that was like it was Bobby Porter, Greg Powell, uh,
Oh,
Tony.
okay.
Both of them had passed away. They
Yeah.
had with Tony
Yeah.
and Greg,
Yeah.
and we started. Tony played the sax, and Greg, which was around my age, he played the bass guitar and keyboards.
Hmm.
And then Bobby Porter, he was a lead guitarist.
Okay.
And so we started doing more four top stuff.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That era, uh, uh, I mean, just all the top 40 soul music.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, I went into that direction. But mind you, now while doing that, I was still over here in the jazz world too,
Right.
with friends over here. So
Mhm.
I'd go over here, maybe go up north and practice with them, and then
Mhm.
in the weekdays I'd come back and practice top 40.
Okay.
With We had a couple gigs. We
Okay.
play like at the Dover Air Force Base
Oh, okay.
junior club, or
Mhm.
we play at the coffee house,
Mhm.
at a couple of the churches in downtown Dover, or we
Mhm.
play in the park, and basically they were pretty much all free,
Mhm.
'cause we were just still learning all that stuff,
Right. And
you
doing it
know,
because you loved it.
doing it because we loved it and everything. And once I got into that situation, I would say about 3 or 4 years doing the Four Tops and Stevie Wonder,
Mhm.
and all those guys. Once the '60s hit, then we started getting into a totally, totally different style, and that's when Jimi Hendrix came into the picture.
Okay.
And now, mind you, Jimi Hendrix played soul music too.
Right.
He was a backup guitar player for the Otis Redding band and everything.
Okay.
And before he went out and did his thing. And so what happened, that era of music, that's when Vietnam started,
Right.
the Vietnam War. And everybody was sort of kind of reneging against, make love, not
Right.
war,
Right.
that type of thing, make love, not war type of
Mhm.
thing. And so we started doing stuff from Janis Joplin, familiar with
Right.
Janis
Mhm.
Joplin. Uh, I don't know if you're familiar with Grand Funk Railroad.
Well, wait a
Uh,
minute. When you say like stuff like Janis Joplin and those like in that era, there were
well,
a lot of vocal, like a lot of heavily vocal stuff. Did you have a
well,
vocalist or?
yeah. Well, we were getting it more into a we were getting it more into a heavy rock era.
Okay.
And because Janis Joplin had, had a heavy rock band.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bobby was more the uh, lead singer and guitar player.
Okay.
And so we were getting into, that's just right when the Beatles hit United States.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, music started turning.
Mm-hmm.
Music started turning, and we were getting into, I don't know if you want to say hippie music or long hair music.
Right. Okay.
Back then,
Like
what I mean?
almost like Santa Maria.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
No. There's a band that you had. I can't remember the name of the band. It starts with a P. But I heard the album.
Polyphony. Yes. Now, where we got that, we got all of that background from London. And and this is when my music really started changing.
Okay.
But now I'm going from jazz to top 40
Mm-hmm.
to rock and roll.
Right.
To, this is sort of like a new age funk.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular music is right when I turned 17 and left Dover.
Okay.
As a group, we were all a group, and we left Dover and went to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And from there, we picked up a manager
Mm-hmm.
that loved us because they had never heard anything like it.
Mm-hmm.
They go, what the? It was like, when we were set, and Craig and Glenn were the writers, the keyboard player and the guitar player.
Okay.
And we were like, dude, where is this stuff coming from? I'm the player, the drummer, the bass player. And what was happening was that was right at the era when the Beatles hit now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people did not know about Yes, the band Yes, the band Brand X, the band Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Peter Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew about that. And what was happening is a lot of the guys, the two guys, and us, when we would go to the record store, we would always go into the European section.
Okay.
And we would bring that back to us, and we would just start playing around and practicing it. And playing more of the European stuff that nobody never even heard, because people would come over to our house, our practice house at Virginia Beach, and they're going like, these guys, where are these guys from?
Right. Right.
And they never heard any music like that before. And it was like, a manager came over, and next thing you know, he goes, I want to record you guys. I went, what? He goes, because you're just unusual. And that's when we got into, and Craig and Glenn got into the O'Neill Critic Man, Spoke Like a Frog. It's just, it was wild. And mind you now, the shows that we did, we wore like satin jackets. Now this is back then now, satin jackets, satin pants. I think Craig had fingernail polish on. Because we were sort of kind of copying the European people.
Right.
We see in the albums that over here in the States.
Right.
Had food. And so once we got to Virginia Beach, for those next 3 years, we went on tour. We should have went to London, and that didn't iron out. And that's where a lot of the people think that's what we missed out on,
Okay.
as far as climbing the ladder.
Right. Uh-huh.
We should have went over into Europe as American band, playing
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that we had, learning from them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by the time we, our music, right at the third year, I'd say right at the third year, we just started sort of leveling off. But what had happened was,
Mm-hmm.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, and all of them came to the United States.
Wow. Okay.
Now, everybody's starting to understand where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped on the bandwagon and came to the States and just took off.
Wow. Okay.
Freaking, I mean, they,
So you did kind of like a cross.
it was like a cross,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but they took off multi-millionaires, just like that, because nobody never heard that type of music.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then once that took off, a lot of rock bands started coming to the era. Rolling Stones,
Okay.
Boston.
Right.
Then you got Santana,
Mm-hmm.
and all these. And now, mind you, a lot of these musicians were in different groups,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them were sort of did what I did. They played in a lot of like funk bands and
Right.
jazz bands,
Yeah.
And then what had happened was they all decided, I'm gonna go off on my own
Mm-hmm.
and listen to what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Some made it, some made a killing, some are still doing it. Some
Right.
are
Yeah.
still doing it, and still, I mean, Santana.
And actually, a lot of them have crossed over into other stuff too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Speaking of being a crossover
yeah,
artist, a lot of them have crossed into other stuff.
correct. I mean, even when Santana just hitting it, he started playing with Miles Davis. They started doing stuff together.
Okay.
Everybody was crossing everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was just amazing. Rock bands playing jazz band, playing rock, because when Miles Davis started playing, getting into more of a funk, people couldn't understand. They always thought he was a jazz trumpet player.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he started playing some off the wall stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it was good off the wall stuff.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for any of the heavy jazz musicians to accept it, but eventually they did.
Right. But he was phenomenal. I mean, you know what I mean? Oh. They were so familiar that he was so talented that probably helped after a while. After they're like, wait a minute, what is he playing? Why is he doing this? I think that happens with a lot of artists. You know what I mean? That like try to do something new, even though it seems like you had like a real good trajectory doing different stuff.
I had a very good trajectory, and it's just like, and all of them, it was like just so close.
Mm-hmm.
Climbing up there, but
right.
had I had to do it over again, I'd do it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just blessed playing with so many musicians,
mm-hmm.
Top musicians, regular musicians,
mm-hmm.
musicians on the street, recording musicians, I mean, doing TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been blessed.
It's more like, what haven't you done instead of what, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
wow.
and it's been, and I've gotten to, I have great friends right now that are just doing phenomenal. My bass player that I played with, O'Teal,
mm-hmm.
he's in the group. He's won 3 Grammys now, and
wow.
he's in a group called, it used to be Grateful Dead, but they're called Dead and Company now.
Okay.
And his name is O'Teal Burbridge. And we played together for 4 years in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Now, I hooked up with him
mm-hmm.
after Polyphony.
Okay.
And then after that, that's when once once the polyphony started resolving,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the guys went to different groups, that's when we started the Hot Cakes Band. I went with the group, the Hot
Okay.
Cakes Band,
Mm-hmm.
and we toured that, and we were strictly all funk,
Okay.
strictly all funk,
Mm-hmm.
music, and and to this day, it's uh, again we did a 45,
Okay.
and we were like so close,
Mm-hmm.
just excellent musician, phenomenal musician.
Mm-hmm.
And the drummer now today, down the road you get a chance, you can check out my the drummer I played with for 3 years.
Okay.
He teaches at Juilliard,
Okay.
and his name is Billy Drummond,
Okay.
and he's got a good website, and he does jazz all over the world, and everything. And what had happened with him when we played together,
Mm-hmm.
we were starting to getting ready after 4 years with that, 4 or 5 years with that,
Okay.
to break up. Um, he got a call from New York City, and there's a drummer there that was so good and so popular that he couldn't do all of the studio gigs and everything.
Okay.
Uh, Omar Hakim, that's his name,
Okay.
Omar Hakim. And so Billy told me, he goes, man, I got a call from New York City. You're not gonna believe
Mm-hmm.
this. He goes, I didn't know if it was a joke. So he went up there, scared of New York. It was a city, hey,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Virginia Beach, little beach town. And when it happened, Omar had heard some of his drumming before in
Okay.
studios, and some people had passed his name on.
Mm-hmm.
And he went up there and he just took off.
Wow.
Switzerland, London, Paris,
Okay.
uh, Grammys, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Still Heart of Gold. We talk
Mm-hmm.
every other day,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But the 4 years I played with him,
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot,
Yeah.
and that's where it with all these musicians that, like I said, Oteil,
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot, and I think Oteil's won 3 Grammys. Uh, it's just, and that's the part, that, okay, I didn't make it all the way to the top, but what I did was I learned a lot from guys that did make it to the top, and that was the experience in itself
Uh-huh.
because they were so freaking talented.
Sometimes that's the top. Sometimes our top is not someone else's top. If you know,
True. And
you know,
you know what? And
look how rich your life has been just from the connections, from the human connection. You know what I
yes,
mean? Because of the music and wow.
I mean the connections. I mean, I played with acoustical, 2 or 3 acoustical ladies.
Mm-hmm.
One lady called Just Vandy. She was a super lady, and had a hot album out. And she was acoustic, and I did some stuff with her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so, musically wise, like you said, it was I. It's like I've just been so freaking blessed, and the thing is, you know, I I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I have people
Yeah.
call chat. I'm going nuts. I said, bro, you're not the only one going nuts.
Uh-huh.
So
This COVID's
you know,
been
and
pretty
and
hard.
I keep saying, Tony, I keep saying, yeah, I'm getting tired of this. Then I'll go online and I see these guys 77, 78,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
still rocking. And I went, damn, I haven't
Yeah.
even. I'm getting close, but I haven't hit 70 yet. I'm going,
Yeah. But I mean,
and
like,
I'm
look at like Tito Puente and all, you know what
yeah.
I mean? All of them, they went like forever.
Or, I mean, well, then I look at people like Mick Jagger. I mean, the guy's
Mm-hmm.
75, 76,
Mm-hmm.
and still,
Still kicking it.
so I just said to myself, well, okay, it was funny because this was like about 2 weeks ago. I was down at the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just sitting on the beach, and one of the chairs going, the fresh air is all there, and it's like, what, do I really want to, am I talking the right way? Do I really want to, just like, pull back,
Mhm.
and then all of
That's
a
in your
sudden,
blood, though. I mean, it's in your
it's
blood
in
now.
my blood, and
Yeah.
then I would call up my buddies, and Chad just, and they go, Chad, will you stop talking stupid?
Uh-huh.
They would tell, dude, he goes, you got another 10 years on you, man. He
Yeah.
goes, you got another 10 years. But, you get into that funk,
Mhm.
and like I said, coming up back then, it was so exciting,
Mhm.
and doing the church groups. I mean, not the church groups, but the coffee houses. That's what they call them.
Mhm.
Coffee houses in the basement of the church.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, And uh, so it was, and they had them all over Dover.
Mhm.
And actually, that's where I met Junior, who I'm playing with now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I met Junior,
Okay.
but then he was doing another thing with somebody else,
Mhm.
but we still got to be friends.
Mhm.
And he had a light show when he wasn't playing the band. He would do a light show like at the Dover Armory. They have like
Okay.
Battle of the Bands,
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
back then they were called Battle of the Bands. And
Mhm.
of course, you win $25 or
Yeah.
yeah, the trophy, you
Mhm.
get a trophy. And uh, he had this phenomenal light show and everything.
Mhm.
And we sit and did stuff together and everything. And,
Mhm.
but we always kept in contact. He knew a lot of big people up in New York,
Okay.
and he studio work too. Same
Okay.
thing with him. He was like, we always talk back, when we uh, online here, and he goes, Chad, both of us, man, we always talk about how close we were.
Mhm.
I know. He goes, but bro, he goes, man, I'm having a good time right now. I said, so am I.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Mhm.
said, so, I'm having a good time. But it's just been so much fun meeting so many musicians.
Yeah.
I remember 6 years ago, I was invited to a concert in Richmond, Virginia,
Mhm.
and I got to meet one of the original Drifters. The
Wow.
He's 89 or
Yeah.
90. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, and he was at the gig and he sang, and I'm going, wow,
Yeah. You know
like,
what? You know what that makes me think of that okay, so being an artist, I know that it keeps your mind stimulated. It keeps my mind stimulated.
right,
Um
yes,
but to see all these guys, ladies too, obviously, but that are like they're up in age, but they
yeah,
still have their mental function. Their mental function is just like perfect. I think it's because of that, because of that music and the performance and the, all that stuff. It keep,
yes. And you just, even when, if it's so crazy because even when I go to bed,
hmm
at times, and if I can't sleep and I'm laying up in bed,
hmm
it's I got the music going through my head of different stuff that
uh-huh,
I'll like reminisce, or a
uh-huh,
concert I did 20 years ago,
hmm
and remembering, this person missed a note,
hmm
and you laugh, or you missed a note and you would laugh.
wow,
You
uh-huh,
know, it's like, and you're right, you're right. You
hmm
you sit there and you think of
yeah,
all you're constantly thinking, and a lot of loved ones I've lost in the music world.
hmm
Uh, that were I was close to, and then there's a lot of loved ones that are still out there rocking and rolling,
right,
and so it's, and you're so right. Is Junior, the guy that I play with now? I
hmm
don't know how he does it, but he knows the lyrics to over 400 songs and
wow,
does not put one sheet music out there in front of him.
uh-huh,
You know, that's phenomenal. I mean, how the heck if someone names a song,
hmm
not only can he play it note by note, but he can sing it note by note. you
Wow.
know, and Junior 73.
Mhm.
And he told me what the way he does it, for him, that he remembers music as a story.
That makes sense.
He
Mhm.
says, and once he hears the title of the story,
Mhm.
for him,
Mhm.
he goes, Chad, once I hear the title of the story,
Mhm.
he goes, all of a sudden, he goes, the lettering and the it comes right in front of my eyes, of the story of the title of that song.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter now of singing what was written,
Aw.
he said.
He
And I
kind
was
of
like,
has a photographic memory, kind of.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy. Another guy. I'm blessed. I mean, he plays 9 different instruments,
Mhm.
uh, from the fiddle to the harmonica to keyboards, bass, violin, uh,
Wow.
banjo, and he's fluent in all of them. And
Wow.
it's like anything he picks up,
Mhm.
he's just fluent. He
Mhm.
just takes
Mhm.
off.
Mhm.
And he started when he was 3 years old. His
Okay.
parents had a music store here in Dover,
Okay.
with a music store. And I remember going to that store and, buying, as I got up, like some
Mhm.
drumsticks
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So, but like I said, it just kept on going, after hotcakes. Now, I got, it was the hotcakes, the Dubinettes, and then now it goes into Bill Deal and the Rondelles.
Okay.
Now they had hit songs,
Okay.
and I was able to tour with them for 6 years. We had three buses,
Mhm.
and that was experience and a half to travel and tour around the country.
Oh
on-
yeah, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. I remember we do stuff like we'd have a gig we'd have a gig in somewhere in Florida.
Mhm.
We'd play that night. Uh, no, we play that night. We
Mhm.
drive to Atlanta. Then we would hop on a plane,
Mhm.
do an afternoon concert, and then hop on a plane, come back, and then go back to Florida and do a
Wow.
night gig.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we would just do stuff like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was like, now to me, I mean, they were probably, I think, may I, what kind of fool do you think I am? I've been hurt. I
Mhm.
think they hit the top 25 here in the United States.
Okay.
We're over like in Europe, Mexico,
Mhm.
and other places. They hit number one,
Wow.
and everything.
I
And
thought I found that that's a trend also. There's so many artists that are like, okay, here, and then
right,
Europe like loves them. They like appreciate their art. They, like even like Josephine Baker,
yes,
who left, you know,
right.
and went over there.
Over there. I mean,
Yeah.
you would, when I've been over there, you would not believe. Well, that's why Billy, my buddy, he goes, Chatty, Europeans, he goes, he goes, they are so much insane in different American music.
Mhm.
He goes from jazz. He said, forget about jazz. Jazz is just off the charts over there.
Mhm.
He goes, they just love jazz. He goes, then if you get into like show bands and stuff, you get into somebody like he said, like an Elvis Presley.
Uh-huh.
Every Asian person over there wanted to be Elvis
Oh
Presley.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he would celebrate. I went, what? He goes, oh, Chad, it's a trip.
Yeah.
The
Uh-huh.
4'3", and they got long sideburns.
Yes. All the impersonators.
He goes, Europeans were so more adaptable to American music, and
Mhm.
they got into it.
Mhm.
Show bands. Like I
Right.
didn't know what a show band was until I worked with the Rondells,
Okay.
and that's I dressing that's when you first got together where you all dressed together. You
Mm-hmm.
dressed alike, you
Uh-huh.
know. And it was like, your shirts, your sport coats,
Uh-huh.
your tuxes,
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. It was a trip,
Yeah.
to wear and dress like that. But that's where, as we found out, I think through the grapevine, that's where at that particular time you made your most money,
Yeah.
because I mean Bill Dillon, I mean he was getting 4 or 5 thousand a night, and
Woo!
sometimes, oh yeah, he was getting 4 or 5 thousand a night. He's probably one of the first guys that had a he had a that's right, when the portable phones came out, I think
Mm-hmm.
they were like $5,000
Oh
or something.
yeah. Oh yeah.
They're big box.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was one of the first ones, and yeah, he was. I mean, we'd be on the road 265 days out of the year,
Okay.
nonstop,
Wow.
non freaking stop. I mean, and at
Woo!
3,000, oh yeah, he had
That's
the
a
big
lot.
home. He
Now,
had the big.
how much time did that leave you like to practice? Did you always like practice constantly when you were on
Well,
the
what
road, or
we
you
did,
kind of
what we did was we had two road groups,
hmm
which were setups.
okay.
And so he was very smart, and he had two setup trucks.
hmm
And one, let's say, if we were doing a gig in Florida
Okay.
and everything, the next truck would be on its way to Atlanta to
Okay.
set up the next night.
Okay.
So by the time we got there,
Uh-huh.
what we would do is we would get there, say like 1 in the afternoon, and we'd have
hmm
to play at night. So now we had practice time to go
Okay.
over songs
hmm
because they already got us set up for it later on that
Yeah,
night.
that is smart.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, he was a smart guy. He
hmm
was a very smart guy. And that's how he kept it going. He kept two road crews on the road,
Okay.
so we never, and really, at that, it, I mean, you'd kill yourself. I mean, it was bad enough for us doing it,
hmm
because we had, and we would take turns driving the bus and sleeping,
hmm
and you learn how to
Man.
drive the bus, and you get up and you lean forward,
Uh-huh.
and then someone slid under you, and yeah,
Like
and
race car drivers, or I can't remember who it is that does that, but that's really funny.
you put your foot on the gas pedal, and then you standing up, you lean forward, and you get out of
Yeah.
underneath the. Oh yeah, we did that all the time.
Oh, that's
That was,
hilarious.
I mean, it was just, and we had extra. Excuse me, we had extra. We had I mean, since he was just smart, man, we had extra fuel tanks.
Okay.
You switch a button, then it kick in. That we
Mhm.
could go up to, I think it was 1,200 miles
Wow.
in
Okay.
nonstop.
Wow.
I mean, the guys is.
Y'all were rolling.
Oh yeah, we were rolling. So,
Yeah.
and that's why, Kathy says, I understand you say, I mean, but he goes, Chatty, you were doing it. You were having a killer time, and
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you can. I didn't see I don't know. I guess I didn't see the show band.
Mhm.
Uh, I saw it as something different.
Right. Well, yeah, because you were living the experience. You were living in the middle of it. So.
Right. Where the other was, some we did a lot of concerts.
Okay. hmm
So we did a lot of outdoor concerts. I think I sent you a picture of one concert we were doing, where a bunch of us were on stage in
Yeah.
Virginia
Uh-huh.
Beach,
hmm
and with that, and that's what we did a lot of,
hmm
before I went with the Rondells. We'd always hit Florida, Atlanta,
hmm
Charleston, and hit all the beaches, and there would be a huge,
No.
big concert. So
How
now,
how were you like? Did you ever have any like real problems, like in the South in particular, um, with?
oh, it's funny you say that. Yes, we did. I can recall when I first went on the band, and it was me and Linda Green. She was a black chick singer,
Mhm.
and Quiz, uh, of course, they had long hair, and we made a wrong turn, and they were having a Klan rally.
Oh boy.
They
Wow.
were having a freaking Klan rally,
Oh
and
my God.
Quiz. I remember Quiz. He just told me and Linda,
Hmm.
uh, uh, Chat. You know, you guys hit the floor. You know,
Yeah.
because they were throwing rocks at them because they had long hair.
Wow.
Back then, you had long hair. Oh, they didn't like any white people with long hair down south. You
Wow.
know, oh yeah, I
Oh, because
mean,
maybe they figured they were like too progressive or something, or
too progressive. And like I say, you got to remember now this. Now you're looking at, you know, Woodstock, make love, not
oh,
war.
that's right. Yeah.
You know, they're hippies,
Yeah.
and back then they didn't like hippies,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they were throwing rocks at them, and because they could see them
Hmm.
and everything. And of course, the boys had, you know, they had a couple weapons under their seat just
Yeah.
in case
Yeah.
if it
Yeah. Of course.
got crazy. But there was that was a close one. Then we had another one. It's funny you say that. And then we had another one down in Tony in Alabama, and we got there. Uh, the band was all set up,
Hmm.
and Rondell was sold out. And this was 1970, 1972 or 73,
Okay.
Tony.
So I was like
And
2. I was 2 years old while all this stuff was going
yeah,
on in the world.
and, and Linda came out, and I hadn't even came out of the darn bus yet. But
Hmm.
Linda came out of the bus, and they told Bill Dill, he goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "What do you mean, when George?" Because he's a singer.
Hmm.
Because she can't come in here. He
Wow.
goes, "What do you mean she can't come in here?"
Hmm.
You know, and so, well, if she can't come in here, then I guess we're not playing.
Hmm.
You know, and so they went back and forth. The police came, and
The police came?
oh yeah, the
Are you
police came.
kidding me?
Yeah, the police came, and
Wow.
Bill Deal was he smart guy.
Mhm.
He wasn't these type of guys that get upset.
Right.
He
Hmm.
always used his head
Hmm.
how to get out, and everything.
Hmm.
And so what he did was, I don't know how he figured it out, but he was able to turn it around back to the crowd. And the crowd says, if the band didn't come in here, they would start a riot. And
Wow.
they told, you know, and they knew, but
Hmm.
the band didn't care. I mean, they didn't care.
Right. Hmm.
You know, it was the owner.
Hmm.
You know, he was Stone Klansman. And so uh, what we did, I think we went in and we did one set,
Hmm.
and you know nothing happened.
Hmm.
But at the same time, Tony, how can you really perform in
When you're,
some
yeah.
art when you got that type of stress on you?
Uh-huh.
You
Hmm.
know, and I mean,
Knowing anything can happen at any minute.
yeah, you don't know. I mean, you know, you don't know if you had. I mean, some of the people you had, like, some of the people were cool.
Hmm.
And of course, you know, no black people. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
so some of the people were cool, some of the people weren't cool.
Hmm.
So by that time, Bill Dill uh, to the guy, and the guy, he goes, "No, you got to finish." Now he wants him to finish.
Wow.
You know, now he wants him to finish. You
Uh-huh.
know, so we went to bus, and we all talked about it,
Hmm.
and so, you know, he goes, "Well, how do you guys feel?" And so, well, hey, we're here.
Right.
Whatever you want to do, William. You
Hmm.
make the call. We're here. We're here to play music.
Right.
So we went back in there, and we played music and everything. And then the guy turns around and books us.
Wow. See, look at that. You can't make that stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
You can't make it up.
Wow.
It turns around books just like a month later.
Wow.
I mean, it
Look at
you
that
know,
power from that. You know what I'm saying? Look at the power in music. That's
and
incredible.
that was awful. Now Linda, to give you an idea, Linda Green was her name.
Hmm.
When she left the band, she was the new Peaches and Herb. Remember,
Oh.
she's the new Peaches, Linda.
Okay.
Yeah, and she had a son named David, and just a super good guy, a super kid and everything, and he would travel with us sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, she left, phenomenal singer,
Hmm.
and she left to go with, I don't know what happened to the Peaches with her,
Hmm.
but then she, her manager ended up getting her gig with that, and
Okay.
then it was just, I was just the only, I was left with the only black one in. We didn't have another female,
Okay. Hmm.
you know, so, and she did very good for I think next 3, 4, 5 years.
Hmm.
They traveled all over the place. So
Okay.
I don't know if she's still, playing or because well, she would, I guess she would be up there around my age, 69
Right. Hmm.
at 70, and she might have been a little bit older than me.
Hmm.
Uh, and so she, uh, hell of a singer, phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal singer. And of course, we did the Las Vegas show type set,
Okay.
and we did dance music in the beginning.
Hmm.
And after we took that break, for 40-minute hour break, then we'd come back and we do a show set.
Okay.
And the show set could be, I don't know if you remember the old tap dancer by Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And we had a guy, and then we had a spotlight would come down, and he would have his head down, and everything would be pitch black.
Uh-huh.
And then he would do and then one of the guys in the background would be singing Mr. Bojangles, while the other guy would be dancing it,
Okay.
and I mean, we had some great shows,
Hmm.
show sets,
Hmm.
that we did that turned it out really, and the people loved, so
Yeah.
it's uh, like I say, it all was really, really, we just had that phenomenal time,
Hmm.
even, and then after that, going out west,
Right.
and doing that thing. Now, mind you, people can't figure this one out. Now, mind you, now with all that going on,
Hmm.
I did 32 years with the airlines.
Between all that stuff.
Between all that, I did at one point when I went to Virginia Beach.
Hmm.
At one point when I went to Virginia Beach, I think I forgot to tell you. I had a guy come up to me and goes, "Chad, man, you ever thought about working for the airlines?" I went, "Nah, no."
Hmm.
He goes, "So my boss needs people like you because you're a people person."
Hmm.
So I said, "Huh." Mind you, at that time, I'm playing music at nighttime.
Okay.
I'm going to school in the after. I'm going to school daytime, cosmetology school.
Hmm.
So, and that's when I had that little. That's when it was with hotcakes. So, for 5 years,
Hmm.
what I was doing, so 4 years, yeah, 5 years, what I was doing is I was working the airline industry,
Hmm.
4:30 in the morning to 12:30. And then I would hop in the car and go to the hair shop,
Hmm.
2 o'clock to 7. And then from there, I would get dressed and go to the club, which is right down the road,
Hmm.
and play from 9 until 1:30. And then I'd get home for 3. I did that for 5 years.
Oh my gosh. That's
You know,
dedication. Oh.
so I did that for 5 years.
Hmm.
And then after I got all my timing in, that's when I went to Wyoming.
Okay. Okay.
And we were there for 5 years, 4 years. And I played basically with acoustical people out there because it's a small community.
Right.
So it's more acoustic.
Yeah. And really the whole Pacific Northwest is
yes,
kind of like that. I love that. But yeah.
Yeah. It was just more acoustic, you know. And we would do weddings. The guy I hooked up with and everything. It was Chatty ran the store. Well, then when the 9/11 hits, we were working in the store. My boss from the city, Chad, I need you back in Washington.
Oh,
I took a 4-year sabbatical.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
You know, so they let you take a sabbatical because the company wasn't making any money. So that 4-year sabbatical is when I went out to Wyoming.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, and I took advantage of that. And then once I got into my retirement stage, you know, and everything, I didn't know what to do. And my sister said, you know, Chad, you know, mom's getting up there, you know, she's just showing little signs, you know. So I just said, you know what, I better come on home. You know, and that's when I you know, came to Dover.
Yeah.
And then of course, a couple people heard I was back in Dover, and you know, and I got a call, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and then I got a call from Junior, and I got a call from a couple other people, and you know, we just you know, started shooting, and got into some very good bands when I came here. You know, and then of course, down the road, you know, mom goes on to heaven, and I didn't know if we were going to go back to Virginia Beach,
right,
or stay here in Dover. And then Kathy goes, we went down there, and you know, it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, very, I mean,
congested.
Congested. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when my buddy goes, Chatty, I own my car. I went, okay. He goes, I still got to pay personal property taxes on it every year. I went, what? He goes, yeah, buddy.
That's insane.
He goes, no, you own it. You still pay taxes on it. Unless if it's 30 years old or something ridiculous.
That's insane.
You know, so, you know, I started thinking, I still got my buddies in New York. I still got my buddies in Washington. I still got my buddies in, I was just up there. I still got my buddies in Virginia Beach. I got my main man, Junior. And it's just like, of course, right now we're in a hole with this COVID, but it's like, you know, it's like I'm on call, you know, hey, Chad, you got any gigs this week? I went, you know, I might have, you know, I got a couple open, you know, could you work a gig with us? You know, and sure, man, sure, you know, when you need me. And that's still going on, you know, and you know, it's just been a great ride in doing a lot of this stuff. You know.
Oh, I know what I meant to ask you. How many? I know that you do percussion. But how many percussion instruments do you play? And
I play the timpani drum, kettle drum.
Okay.
I play all of your pretty much kalimba, you know, the congos, the timbales. Sort of like all this, you know, a ton of your various, you know, probably
any percussion thing you can
you know, 15 to 16 different type of various things and everything that, you know, depending on who you're with, you know, because sometimes most of my percussion I play are more soft stuff because a lot, you know, I learned, you know, with rattles, soft rattles, or
especially now, right?
Yeah, you know, or rain sound, you know, rain in the background, which is a long tube, you know, that has beads in it. You just
like a rain stick, yeah,
like a rain stick, and you know, not as much. There for a while, I was using the timpani drums a lot, but then the music sort of changed.
Right.
And it's sort of kind of what happens is when you get into a lot of, if you got something coming up, and a lot of musicians do this, Tony, it's like they'll go on eBay and, oh man, I got a gig coming up. And they'll see something that if it's and they need it, they'll bid on it and get it at a decent price.
Okay.
And then once the gig's over with, then they put it back up.
Then they put it back up there. Yeah.
Musicians do that all the time.
Yeah. You gotta keep the money rolling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you gotta make it work. Yeah.
Yes. You learn how to, you learn how to improvise, think of different stuff to do. Like this one guy, I got his timpani drum from him, and he told me they were learning 4 songs and he needed a timpani drum, so he went out and bought it. And then after that, they don't do those songs anymore, so he put it on eBay.
Okay.
And then I got it at a great price, and then after about 3 years, then I got rid of it.
Oh, okay.
So it just sort of kind of, you learn how to improvise.
You like adapt.
And and like I said, we still have. I mean, it's just you still talk to great musicians out there. Me and Junior, we did a great gig at a place called. And if you get a chance when you get off here, I want you to pull up a place called Do Drop In.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I want you to make sure you contact back with me.
Okay.
To read about it. It's the Do Drop In, and it's in Virginia.
Okay.
There's 2 of them.
Okay.
And we did. Our pictures are on the wall. We did a big concert there, and it's in. It starts with an M, Maryland or Miranda, Virginia. But it's DOO -- drop in.
Oh, okay.
And it's gonna blow your mind, the history. I'm not, and I just want to
look it up. Okay.
Look it up, and we played there with some phenomenal musicians. A guitar player, he played with Whitney Houston. He played with Marilyn McCoo. He played with
wow,
Barbara
what happened to her?
Yeah, he played with Barbara Streisand. Wow. He played with Beyonce. He was the one that they put this on, and he was looking for musicians to come down there. Weirwood, that's it. Weirwood, Virginia.
Okay.
And he was looking for musicians close by. And what had happened was when he was in the studio, and the guy goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I got a good friend down there, Junior." I said, "He would be great, to back up, if you need him to back up."
Right.
So he calls Junior, and man, Junior, he goes, "Well," excuse me, he goes, "That sounds pretty good." He goes, "I'll send you the music." He goes, "Well, I got my percussion and he goes, "Yeah, bring him too. I want, I'm gonna need him." And so they, excuse me, they send the music to Junior here in Dover.
Okay.
And we went over everything. And then we went on down to Weirwood, Virginia. And just a little taste of it is, it's about Lloyd Price. It's about all the musicians that were on the road, back in the 50s and the 40s, and they would drop in.
So that was okay. Okay.
For a meal. Police, it's on it's in the archives. It's historic.
Oh, okay.
It's back in the country and everything. And the lady, we knew the daughter and everything, but. Definitely check that out and tell me.
Okay, I will. I
Let
will.
me know what you think of it and
Okay.
everything. It's got a great history behind it. The dewdrop
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Not many people know about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I sure didn't.
No, yeah, not many people. And I
Mhm.
think this will open up your eyes too once you check it out.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, I love, love, love music. I love like all genres of music. I'm like
Right.
a musical file. I just love just any kind of music. You know what I mean? But really, really, the stuff that I make is just like for my books and
Yeah, I mean
all that kind of
and
stuff.
that's great. You know,
But yeah, I mean, it just touches so many people. It really
yes.
does.
Oh, it does.
It does. Oh,
You
I need to ask you one more thing too, because
yeah,
I know this is one of my questions about tribal drumming.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I mean, obviously, people know that like you're a musician and you're like a multi-genre,
Mhm.
multi-talented musician. But tell me about that because obviously that's near and dear to me as well. Um,
Well, my tribal drumming, I picked up when I was out west
mhm,
in Wyoming.
mhm,
And how I picked that up was I met a uh, a Native American Indian named Running Bear out there,
mhm.
and I was able to go on the reservation. Now, mind you, I knew some about tribal and about our heritage,
Right.
but Dad,
Mhm.
Dad, and of course Uncle Babe, uh, they used to sit around and tell me about that. There's a place in Dover, I mean, in outside of Dover called
Mhm.
Cheswell, Delaware. Right now, little did I know that Dad and Uncle Babe had cousins there,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the story I was told from Dad, it was that their own little world is that back then, if you had dark skin,
Yeah.
you sort of were on the other side of the track
Yeah.
as opposed to having the light skin.
Yeah. Pop told me about that too.
And then I also remember our cousin, our cousin Jay in New Jersey,
Mhm.
when his parents would go to the beach and go to different places,
Mhm.
but Jay was a darker skin, so he would end up staying home with a babysitter.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Dad got really heavy into it, and he had all the paperwork and everything.
Mhm.
And as he was getting old, I remember Theo used to go over there all the time,
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
and Dad was just schooler, and it was like, I go, well, it would be neat, to get into drumming,
Mhm.
if I could check that out, but I knew it was going to be a challenge,
Right. Right.
as I was coming up. So
Right.
what happened was, being in Wyoming, I took advantage of it
Mhm.
because this guy was like awesome, and I got into going to the sweatshop. I mean, sweat tent, where you go in, it'd be 140 degrees in there, and
Yeah. Mhm.
you lay down to your face to the ground,
Mhm.
you could stay cool. I think you were in there for 40 minutes,
Mhm.
50 minutes, with drumming. And I was able to get into that for 2 or 3 years,
Mhm.
mind you now. Now, when I came back to Dover,
Mhm.
Tony, this is when it started opening up.
Right.
And then Theo's chat, uh, I was able to do this. I was able to do this.
Mhm.
The next thing you know, I'm in the mail, and I see in the mail, I get this Native American card and everything in the
Yeah.
mail stating, and I'm going, well, where did this come from? Well, little did I know was Dad and Uncle Babe,
Mhm.
mostly all their contact were in New Jersey,
Yeah. Mhm.
not Dover.
Right. Mhm.
It was New Jersey, and of course they were tight with the people in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so next thing I know, I got an offer to come to do, to set in on some drumming,
Okay.
and okay, and everything. And all of a sudden it started opening up.
Mm-hmm.
The how do you say this, Tony? Uh, Life or the family. I mean, the acceptance started opening up where
Yeah.
it wasn't really. They realized, there's dark skin, white skin.
Right. There's all kind. We're in the rainbow. We're a
We're
rainbow
in
of
a
people.
rainbow.
Yeah.
We're in a rainbow, and now don't get me wrong now, Cosby, because there are some of them still think.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
There's some of them still think,
Mm-hmm.
that you know
Yeah. They
they
try to erase, or they kind of use our blackness as an excuse to erase our indigenous blood.
right, right, and some of them still have on their license as Moors, you
Yeah.
know, instead of what some
Yeah.
of them have white.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember Dad told me, I forgot what family. One guy had his sister and brother had white on one and black on the other one because he was dark skinned. When they
Yeah.
did the when they did
Yeah. The
when they come out,
census.
yeah, census
Yeah.
at the door,
Yeah.
and
A lot of
everything. And
paper genocide there too.
he goes, a lot of
Yeah.
times they just did it by looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Not even asking. Dad, I'm like, what? He goes,
Yeah.
son,
Yeah.
So, getting back to drumming.
Mhm.
So what happened was the drumming started taking off. I gave him a little bit what I learned
Mhm.
out west,
Mhm.
and then we hooked up with some Cherokees down in Bridgeville,
Okay. Okay.
Bridgeville,
Mhm.
Delaware,
Mhm.
and which we're all friends.
Mhm.
We still. I mean, matter of fact, I'm on. We talk online all the time.
Mhm.
It's just that I've been busy. They know.
Yeah.
They know that I play in the band and I'm on the road and
Yeah.
everything. But after a while, when I was off, every Monday night
Mhm.
or every Wednesday,
Mhm.
we have practice
Okay.
and everything. And every now and then I'll sneak down there,
Mhm.
and and we have great fellowship,
Mhm.
and everything.
Yeah.
And it's uh, it's been really, really been rewarding to be able. I wish I could, you know, hopefully, Dad, Uncle Babe could see that we've all sort of kind of, it's not all together,
Yeah.
but I was
It's
able.
way better than,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
way
It was
better than before.
much way better. He goes, to see. And Beverly, my sis was at Chatty. He sees you,
Mhm.
he goes, they see you up there. Yeah, I said, to let that. I told him, I go, yeah, one day. He goes, well, son, you just got to keep on trying.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
just got to keep on
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
And to sit there now and to have him reach out to you
Mhm.
and he go, hey, Chad, you got anything open tonight? This week,
Yeah.
to come drum with us. I said,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Right.
And learning the songs was, Tony, was a challenge. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and yeah.
it's I had to, a couple of the full-blooded Cherokees would send me tapes,
Mhm.
and I would just sit there in the bedroom by myself with my eyes closed,
Mhm.
and try to get all the the tonguing right and everything.
Yeah.
It's uh it, it's interesting. And I think the highlight of my time was, Tony, is when I down in Millsboro,
Okay.
when they have the powwow,
Yeah. Mhm.
and they asked me to sit in with the drummers. And
Mhm.
of course, I got nervous. I went, man, are you freaking nuts? I said, these
Mhm.
people, and then my buddy said, Chad, you can do it. Don't worry about it. come on, man, come on.
Just think all of the stuff, all over the world.
You know, and then it's like,
and then you come home and you're like,
well,
all right.
no, but I pulled it through, and I
Uh-huh.
think that sort of, Tony, I think that sort of comedy was a highlight
Mm-hmm.
uh, of learning, of just of learning, and of course there's just so much more to learn, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
But just to be able to sit down with some of these guys who do it, they go around the world,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and everything, and to all these powwow, big native powwows,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Have you been to
everything.
Gathering of Nations yet?
I have. That's the one I want to go to.
I know. I want to go too. But then they shut it
I,
this year. So I'm just like,
yeah, I know. I
yeah.
mean, what are you going to? It's just. Yeah, well, I was at Wyoming one time when they did the Gathering Nations, but I couldn't get away,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's I know it's just so different out there, Tony,
Yeah.
out west.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably still be out there if it wasn't for Kathy.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Kathy, she's not a cold weather person,
Oh, yeah.
and now the first year. Oh, it was drop dead,
Yeah.
Christmas time, guaranteed snow,
Oh, yeah.
evening.
Mm-hmm.
And you look out the window and you see literally people in sleighs, with the
Wow.
horses and the sleighs
Uh-huh.
and the bells
Mm-hmm.
going on. Or you get up at 4 a.m. and you look out your window and there's a moose sitting in your front yard.
Oh, yeah.
laying there. Yeah, with the baby moose.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that first year was just magical.
Yeah.
It was just magical.
Mm-hmm.
Then by the second year,
Mm-hmm.
4 days nonstop of snowing.
Okay.
It got to the point with the snowblower, I couldn't shoot it any higher.
Oh,
so,
my gosh.
so it was like a tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
To the front door.
Oh, my goodness.
It was like 6-7 feet high. My buddy had to come over with his.
That's a lot.
That lived out there. But I tell you, we were the only mixed interracial couple in the town.
Wow.
And they treated us like gold.
Wow.
It was strange. I mean, literally, when we moved into that house, we bought a house there.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't never seen, people knocking on the door,
Mm-hmm.
bringing cookies
Mm-hmm.
and cakes.
Yeah.
And, it's like,
Yeah.
Kathy's like looking at me and going,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God.
Yeah. But you know
anything.
what? It's just something, I don't know. There's just something that's just really beautiful about just being connected as a human.
Yes.
It doesn't matter like where you're from or what you look like.
Right.
And that's, like with me, that's been an identity thing too. And,
And it's, the dog catchers, the people that leave their house open, because when the dog catches them, he takes them, puts them back in the house.
Yeah.
It's just like if next door neighbor, no one locks your house. If they're going out of town for the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to notice first. We didn't know what the hell. Kathy, it's, hey guys, we're going to be going out of town. The front door's unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
If you need anything.
Mm-hmm. You're like, what?
Hey, Kathy, like looked at me like, what?
Wow.
I know it was crazy. It was crazy.
That's something else.
Everybody was beautiful, and it was. They literally when we left, man, like they were crying and everything, and it was a sad day.
Yeah.
And
but you guys have good hearts too. So
she's called. I wish because I love it out here. She goes, but and you really do,
Mm-hmm.
Tony. You need to be an outdoors person,
right? Mm-hmm.
so you can enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
snowmobiling. You can do, what do they call dog sledding, or
Okay.
you can do the snowshoeing. You'd
Right.
walk snowshoeing this. No,
Mhm.
if you're into, which I was a cat, if you're into the outdoors thing,
Uh-huh.
because that does, it keeps you from being closed inside all the time.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
and I like to go snowshoeing, or I like to go snowmobiling,
Hmm.
you
Just do
know,
different stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's different stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, dog sledding, who would ever think of dog sledding, you
Uh-huh.
know, it was the neatest thing.
Yeah.
So just to experience all that,
Hmm.
it was great. And to be able to hit all of the areas out there, Idaho, Blackfoot,
Hmm.
the Crow,
Hmm.
and to go on the reservations and to do the drumming and then come back here and, and just think that it all started, from, mom and dad taking me
Yeah.
to, Philadelphia to a jazz concert,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and picking that up and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty
Yeah.
good. I've had a pretty good life.
You really have. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just incredible to me, and to see some of the some of the videos, and
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, and I saw the video where you were doing you and Junior were doing Black Magic Woman.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
That was so. Where were we? Actually, we were in Kent Island.
Oh, okay.
We're and we were in Kent Island, and no, outside of Kent Island, a place called Rock Hall, Maryland.
Okay.
Rock Hall, Maryland, and
Okay.
a place called Waterman's. Everybody comes there and eats crabs.
Uh-huh.
And so the owner, he normally has us come over there twice during the summertime
Oh, okay.
and everything. So,
Yeah. It
you
was
know,
just like real chill. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
you have some nice stuff.
thing, so, but yeah, man, yeah, that's been the story of my life
Yeah. That's really cool. I
and
really,
everything.
really appreciate you talking to me today. You have no
Sure.
idea. Well,
No
just and just and